All right. Well, good morning or good afternoon, depending on where in the country you are. I'm here on the West Coast, and my co-host today, Miller, is on the East Coast. So we cover the entire country here. Thanks for joining us today. The topic today is integrated 401k and ESOP services with Menke and Empower. Quick introductions here. I'm Trevor Gilmore, and I'm an ESOP advisor and investment banker here at Menke. And some of you might have corresponded with me in the past. I was also our CFO, COO here at Menke, and I joined the firm in 2015. I'd like to introduce Miller Peer here, Sales Director at Empower.
Good afternoon, good morning. Thanks, Trevor.
Okay, and this is a pretty short webinar, so we'll go ahead and jump right in here. So the main pain point we're trying to solve today is the disparate 401k and ESOP administration out there. So most of you know, if you have both plans set up, which a lot of our clients do, you spend a lot of time on duplicate efforts. So sending 401k census to one party, sending an ESOP census to another party. We're trying to relieve that and save you all a lot of time, which in turn means saving you money. The solution is the integrated 401k and ESOP record keeping offering here at Menke in partnership with Empower. Quick snapshot here. So Empower has an industry-leading platform for 401k record keeping. You might have heard of them in the past, and Miller in a second will show you a demo of their amazing software. Menke steps in on the 401k TPA side and ESOP record keeping / TPA on our Menke ESOP platform. Employees will see both 401k and ESOP balances on Empower's platform, and the Menke ESOP portal continues and will contain ESOP specific information about their account, ESOP account calculators, any sort of account maintenance they need to do on the Menke ESOP platform. I'll go ahead and kick it over to Miller, and he will give you a demo of the Empower TRS Flex.
Thank you, Trevor. This is Miller Peer, Sales Director. I'm dialed in from Atlanta, Georgia. You guys might notice a little bit of a Southern accent. It's 1 o'clock here. I'm not sure where everyone is across the country, but it's good to be with you guys. I've been with Empower now almost 12 years and been in the retirement plan industry 25 years in total. And I would like to spend a few minutes showing you our industry-leading participant website. And we're proud to partner with Menke Associates, the largest ESOP consultant in the country. We do not often play in the ESOP space, so we love partnering with Menke and working with you and their clients to help bring an industry-leading solution where your employees can see your entire holistic retirement account in one place by linking the ESOP balance to the 401k and giving your employees an overall view. So what you'll notice with this participant site, first and foremost, is top left-hand corner, we can always put the company's logo. In this example, we're using the Menke logo. We put it up the top left-hand corner so your employees can see your brand and your logo and not the Empower brand on the website. We're very focused on the idea of holistic retirement income and how your employees can replace over 75, 85, 90% of today's working income after tax and retirement. So years ago, when we became Empower after formerly being known as Great West, we acquired JP Morgan's retirement business. We merged with our sister company, Putnam. We redesigned the participant experience here at Empower, and we were really the first to really focus on retirement income, taking all the data that we have from payroll, taking the outside ESOP data and putting it in one place where your employees can have a real good idea of what kind of monthly income they're projected to have when they reach that retirement goal. They've worked really hard for your organization. They deserve to retire well. And we think that's our mission at Empower, really, as really just a record keeper. We want to help the employees that we work with. And we have over 17 million employees in our 75,000 retirement plans. We're the second largest provider in the retirement plan industry and the largest provider in below 50 million in assets, which a lot of our clients end up sitting in. So what you'll notice right when you log in is this percentage of goal. And that is basically your lifetime income score. So we're taking a lot of really important data from payroll that we link up during the implementation of the plan, and boiling this down to a very manageable way for your employees to really know, are they on track? And so we're going to take the 401k savings and project that out. We're actually looking at the underlying mutual funds that they'll be invested in. We're going to take a look at the employer match. We're going to again push that out to a retirement year. In this example, if I scroll down, you'll see that I'm using age 65 as the retirement year. Your employee can modify the age that they want to retire, and that will change the lifetime income score in real time. Also, the employee can modify the type of contribution they make. So if they are interested in doing a Roth contribution or a pre-tax or an after-tax, if that's allowed by the plan document, they can make that change here. So I'll run you through that real quickly. You'll see as I move this before tax slider to from 4 to 6%. What's really powerful about this is we're going to do the math for your employee. We're going to tell them that's going to mean $90 more, $90.83 more out of their next paycheck. But the future investment after tax and retirement at age 65, again, that's the retirement age they've chosen. Again, they can modify that, is going to be an increase of $360 more after tax. And oh, by the way, the employer gets a lot of credit if they have a company match. It shows the employer match is $180 more after tax and retirement. So let me go back, show you that again. If you go from 4 to 6, my projected monthly income is $2,200 today at 4% pre-tax. And I'm on track to replace what we call the lifetime income score is 66%. We're going to look at these numbers after tax. We're incorporating Social Security and outside assets. I'll show you how to add that in. And of course, the Menke ESOP balance is factored in over here at $10,000 into the equation. The 401k is $15,289. Again, so as I move this slider, 4 to 6%, we're going to 4 to 5 goes up $45. If we go to 6, that's $90 out of your paycheck for a future investment of $360 more after tax and retirement. And my lifetime income score just went to 77% from 66. So at the end of the day, Empower's real true mission is to help your employees close this income gap, which therefore makes them we think, a better employee for you. They're better prepared for retirement. They're better asset allocated, we hope, and also going to be feeling a little more comfortable about their retirement picture. If they wanted to modify their retirement age, let's say they love working for Menke and Associates and they want to work 2 more years, well, that moving from 65 to 67 changes that monthly income up to $3,300 a month and closes the income gap down to 56. And again, people like scores, so their lifetime income score is now at 98% just by working an extra couple years. If that's not an option, of course, they can go the other way and they can see the effect of retiring sooner. Let's say they want to retire at 63. That's going to change that monthly income as well and also increase that income gap. But again, on the left-hand side, you'll notice the employee's net worth. Now, in this example, we've used TRS Flex, which is an outside company we work with that links up to your ESOP and feeds that in so that your employees can have one consolidated statement from Empower that will show their ESOP balance and their 401k. We'll send that out on a quarterly basis, and it'll also give them a better holistic picture of how their retirement income is going to help replace their working income when they get to that stage. If they'd like to link an outside account, any other account, we will link up to about 14,000 different institutions. This data will feed down to Empower at about 3 to 4 o'clock in the morning when the least traffic is out there. But let's say your employee has a Bank of America account. They want to link up to that. I'm going to quickly link that Bank of America account. It's going to quickly link a couple other made up accounts. Now my net worth, as you see, has gone to $158,000 with assets of $389,000, liabilities of $230,000. As I drill down on that, you can see we've loaded a checking account, $45,000 in the checking account. In this example, the employee had a TD Ameritrade brokerage account. We can also link up credit card. And if the employee has a home, they can include that home address, and we'll include a zestimate of what that home is worth, again, with the goal of giving them a holistic view. So you'll see now the other assets on this screen actually shows, we'll convert what we can over here to a monthly income. And so we'll show the employee that, their other assets increase. So their income gap is again gone down by roughly another $300 and their lifetime income score went up. A couple other things to point out. One of the 3 of the most common pieces of information the employee wants when they log into the 401k website is their rate of return, are their beneficiaries on file, and what is their year-to-date contribution and what was their last payroll contribution. That will be right at the top of the screen. Your employee will always be able to find that information as soon as they log in. We were also the first provider to incorporate healthcare costs. So if the employee wanted to share some confidential health state information, we do not share that back with you, the employer, or anyone at Empower or anyone at Menke, but they could tell us if they, if they had a health condition that they wanted to share confidentially, and that will help project what their monthly income will be, how much will be affected by medical as they get further and further into retirement. So it's really tough to plan for retirement if you're not incorporating healthcare, and we were the first and the leader in that. We also can help the employees compare themselves to people like them. So we've gamified the savings for retirement. We'll compare them to the people in their saving age and salary range and their gender, and they can certainly incorporate all genders if they'd like, but this will compare them over here on the far right to what we would consider our average employee in our 17 million group of employees. Their average employee is about 73%. The top 10% is doing even better. So this will encourage the employee to save a little more. And then for the employee that's getting closer to retirement, we've created a new tool for how long will my money last? And this will help incorporate, the ESOP, the 401k, which account should they spend down first for tax situations. Empower can provide true point in time advice to your employees. So if your employees ever wanted to call and ask some questions about Social Security, Roth versus pre-tax, what should they invest in? We're able to do that as a complement to the advisor on the plan. We do work exclusively with financial advisors and consultants, but we want to help your employees meet them where they are. So if they feel better speaking to one of our anonymous advice team members on a Friday afternoon or a Saturday morning, they can certainly give us a call. A couple other areas that are really important. Again, you can click over and see through one single sign-on what that ESOP balance looks like, how much is in that ESOP. And then again, we're going to mail that statement out on a quarterly basis or email it. There's some really neat tools around budgeting and cash flow. We want to help your employees really use this as their 360-degree view into all their savings, so we can keep track of kind of what they're spending, how much the credit card debt might be. If there's the ability to create an emergency fund, we want to help them with that. We have some really fantastic tools that we've enhanced, maybe since the last time some of you have seen this participant experience: holdings, balances, performance, allocations, U.S. sectors. And then most importantly, we have a really cool portal here where the employee can get some planning advice, get online advice. We can take over the management of their account if they would like, using our managed account solution. They can consult with us and schedule an individual call. Again, we want to help with things like paying off student debt, using our tool here to re-amortize student debt. You can do that through Empower. Our big focus this coming year is on financial wellness and helping employees be prepared to get to retirement. Maybe they have a child they're paying for in college or a grandchild. They can go in here and refinance that student loan debt if they'd like. A couple other areas, everything else is one click away. So the traditional rate of return, the pie chart, the transactions, that's all over here on this I want to drop down. The employee could even see when they are projected to perhaps hit the max for contributions in a year if they'd like. There's all the data that you would really need in one landing page. But again, if the employee wants to dig a little deeper, that's there. I want to pause and say we're at 116. Trevor, do we want to look at the sponsor and advisor portal, or do you want to take any questions? How do you want to go from here?
Yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at the plan sponsor portal. And for those that need to drop off, go ahead. I'll email a link to this video. But yeah, let's go ahead and do that. That's important for
Great. Trevor, can you see the plan sponsor portal with the Empower logo, top left?
Yes.
Great. So we also want to provide some of that same data that we gave to the participant. We want to give it to you, the plan sponsor, at your viewpoint. So you'll be able to see what your plan, how successful your plan is in replacing income for your employees. So in this example, this is a $2.3 million plan. They have 11 different funds they're invested in. There's 28 participants with balances. But what you'll notice is this plan's lifetime income score is at 76%. We'll tell you kind of how that plan compares to others like you in our book of business. Again, we have 75,000 retirement plans, so it's a really relative slice of American retirement savers. We'll benchmark you. We'll tell you, what the change is, how you're doing according to the top 10%. We can also give you real nice details on your participation rate, your contribution rate. You can drill down on some of this in just a moment. I'll show you that. But for an employer that wanted to look up, one employee in their plan, you can do that through the left-hand navigation, where you can actually look up Alex Smith. You can see Alex Smith's balance, their rate of return, their contributions. Are they doing Roth or pre-tax? Any transactions they've had. Interactions mean any time they've interacted with Empower. So if we needed to go listen to a phone call, or we needed to explain, what we sent them, you could actually see a visual of what we mailed to your employee and explain to them if you wanted, or of course they can always pick up the phone and call Empower. But we want to give you this, not to be Big Brother, but to really give you everything you need in real time. You can upload documents on behalf of the employee. Let's say it was a hardship situation, or they can do it through our participant site or through the app. And I failed to mention at the beginning, everything I showed you on the participant site is fully transactional and exactly the same on the iOS and on the app that we work with. You can also view what the employee views. So if an employee came into your office and had a question about what they're seeing on their participant account and they don't really understand it, you can actually replicate what they're seeing. You can't make a change, but you can actually go say, well, here's where the slider is, go to this, or you may want to pick up the phone and call Empower. So that's all at your fingertips. If you have an audit or there's committee meetings, you can actually upload your meeting minutes. And a lot of times the Empower Client Service Manager would have access to this. Your advisor may have access to this. You could give Menke access to this, so they could put some notes out or various pieces of information out in the vault, and you could go out and review it at your leisure. There's some amazing reporting tools, a really robust data library that's all at your fingertips, and all the dedicated people that you work with at Empower. You'd have a list of who those folks are. You can call them. You can see your plan document. And Menke could consult on your plan document, of course. So this is all here at your fingertips. And then the last thing I will say is, again, we want to educate. We want to get out and send the Empower Retirement Education counselors out to meet with our clients, either virtually or in person. We're going to use the data that we have in this plan sponsor portal to really identify how we change our education over time. The first quarter that you're a new plan with Empower, we may want to focus on simply enrollment. Maybe the next quarter we want to focus on diversification or volatility in the market, but we're going to be able to look at the data in your plan, and you'll be able to see it as well to decide how we're going to educate, who's using the website, who's not, how many times are they going in, how long are they staying in the website. We're going to be able to identify, the contributions, how the plan is invested in terms of individuals picking their own or choosing a managed account solution or being in a target date. And this is really where we've invested a lot of our dollars in making this really visually easy for you to understand, as well as our team that would support your plan and your advisor. But these are all the employees in a made up plan with hundreds of employees. These are people that we might need to educate or meet with and have a different conversation. Lawrence here has been with the company less than a year, is 30 years old, has an equity exposure of 16%. That's probably not going to get Lawrence to achieve a meaningful retirement. So we want to communicate with Lawrence and maybe Anna over here in a different way than we would Bernadette, who is at 63 and has over 70% equity exposure. So this is just some of the data that we have. If you were on with Empower, we work very, very well with Menke. They're the best at what they do in consulting and working on the ESOP and providing plan administration and developing the best plan design, plan document for your plan and following that to a T. In tandem, we're a wonderful partnership because we are experienced, we're flexible, and we can customize the user experience to your unique needs, because every client we work with is different. Every participant is different. So with that, I'll pause. Any questions that anyone has, feel free to throw those out, or certainly email Trevor, and we're more than happy to take those offline or at another time. But we're proud of this, and we're continually adding enhancements to this technology, and we do think it's the best in the industry by a long shot.
Thanks, Miller. And while we wait to see if any questions pop in, let's give a brief overview of how a transition over to the Empower platform might work.
Sure. Sure. I can send as a follow-up the sample implementation timeline, but we've really gone to a DocuSign, sending out a proposal DocuSign. We work with the advisor and the team to build the investment lineup. We need about 75, 90 days runway for the plans in my market. I focus on plans below 75 million in assets. Certainly, if your plan's larger than that, sometimes the conversions can take a little bit longer, but Empower will assign a dedicated implementation person and a dedicated payroll specialist. Both of those people are going to be working kind of behind the scenes to transition the plan from, whatever record keeper you're currently with. We'll bring in Menke during that process. About second or third week, they'll weigh in on the plan design. We'll work on the plan document. We'll have a very detailed approach with weekly calls. It's about 4.5 to 5 hours of talk time through the life of the conversion, with the goal being, as soon as we lift the blackout, we have any payroll integration set up with whoever your payroll provider is. If you do your payroll in-house, we can work to do that through a PDI file, payroll data interchange file. And it's a very, very organized process so that when we lift the blackout, your employees are never going to have to go in and load any of this information. It's already going to filter in from the payroll. And then as they tell us more about their set of circumstances, again, confidentially, we actually personalize their experience even more so than what you see here. So you tell us you have a kid in college or you're saving for a wedding. That's going to factor into sort of our recommendations on what you need to save today to be prepared for retirement to help replace 75, 80% of the income. But again, it's a great process where we have a new portal where your employers involved in the conversion can log in and see exactly where we are in the conversion. Most of them take 75 to 90 days, provided the prior record keeper is cooperative and we have a good way to work with them. We do about 4,000 conversions in a year. So we're very, very good at it. And, we'll take all the heavy lifting off your plate in the conversion. And it's really us, Menke, and your implementation manager leading the charge on that conversion. So we want to take it off your plate, and you can really do a conversion at any time. The fourth quarter is our busiest time. So about 40% of our plans come over in the fourth quarter, but then you're dealing with holidays and days off and vacations and trying to get education scheduled. So we certainly recommend trying to look at this maybe during the summer months when, like now, hopefully it's a little bit less busy and you have some bandwidth to look at making the conversion over to Empower and Menke.
Thanks, Mo. We have a few questions here.
Sure.
First question here: how flexible are 401k plan designs? I see Roth, after tax, etc. Do you allow in-plan Roth conversions, safe harbor, vesting schedules, etc.? What does a 401k transition look like? Can you share fees?
So let me take that in a couple different spots, and Trevor, you can jump in too if you'd like. But really, when we work with an administration consultant like a Menke, we're going to have the ability to really customize your plan design within reason to build it around what you want to, how you want to offer. There's certain things you have to do, but if you do a safe harbor, obviously it's the best way for your highly compensated employees to max out. Obviously that requires a match for the non-highly compensated employees. And then from there, you could add a profit sharing on top of that. That's discretionary if you have a great year or you don't. Menke could help with a cash balance plan for those that might want to, do a defined benefit on steroids. Obviously, they're consulting on the ESOP side of things, but it is very flexible. You could decide, do you offer loans? Do you not? Do you offer after tax? Do you not? Roth is pretty common. We're seeing most all of our plans offer Roth. In-plan Roth conversions, we do offer. That takes a little bit of time, a little bit of consulting on that, but we do certainly offer that. And that's something you can access through Empower. I think I spoke to the transition, 75 to 90 days is about what we see from the moment we held the welcome call to the moment, we lift the blackout and the plan is now live, fully live. Sometime in there, we're going to do some education. So the employees and the employer is, we're promoting the new participant experience, the new web, the app, all the tools that we have at Empower. And then was the fees. Fees are really, it's hard to answer that because every single plan is different. So we look at assets in the plan. We look at number of participants in the plan. We look at annual contributions through employer and employee contributions as an estimate to help us basically create what we need as a record keeping fee. Do we want to have Menke's fees paid for outside of the plan, or are those going to be baked into the record keeping fees that Empower collects for the cost of running the plan for administration. We can pay Menke or they can invoice you guys. So really fees are tough to answer. If we knew more about your plan, we could drill down on it, but every single one of our plans has kind of a different record keeping structure, but we are very competitive. This business is about scale, and having 17 million participants allows us to really spread out the unit costs through all those different plans. And, we have some of the largest clients in the country are with Empower, and we handle plans that are brand new startups, everything in between. Some of the largest state governments and cities and counties in the country are with Empower. So it really is customized. Tough to say, but if you wanted to see some initial pricing, we'd need the plan assets today, annual contributions estimated, number of participants with a balance, and then a couple other pieces of information, but we can certainly drill down on that and get you a proposal.
Yeah, thanks, Miller. Yeah, and I'll touch a bit on the plan design as well. So you have to take into account your ESOP with the 401k plan design. So taking a look at the 404, 415 limits, that's something your Menke ESOP benefits consultant is well aware of each year. So that's probably going to be the driver in terms of what sort of 401k plan you can have and how much you can put in the K. For new ESOPs out there, I see some people joining us today do have a new ESOP. For the first few years, maybe the benefit rate is being pushed for various reasons, lower taxable income, that kind of thing. So that might limit 401k contributions for the first couple of years, and then you might be able to then increase. So that's fine. 401ks are pretty flexible, and we can always amend them as well. But setting up the plan, from the get-go, so that it achieves the current year objectives and then the long term is critical here. Okay, next question up. Is payroll integrated? I think you mentioned it earlier. You integrate with nearly all the major payroll providers.
Yep, we have a list of over 200 different payroll companies that we integrate with. Some we have 180, meaning one way it feeds from the payroll company to Empower, and then it's incumbent on the person handling payroll to make some adjustments to deferrals and if there's loans and those things. But what we're ultimately trying to build is 360 integration with all of our payroll vendors that will partner with us. And as Trevor mentioned, we can work with just about anybody. We can even work with ADP and Paychex, who we do compete with, who sell 401k, depending on the plan size and the payroll system they use. We do have the ability to build a 180 or 360. Up market, we're seeing more of a, like a Workday or UltiPro, but we can work with them up market. That's, generally speaking, above 15 million in assets. But we work with everybody just about, and we're constantly trying to add new payroll vendors that are popping up to this integration list. So if there's somebody you work with, we're more than happy to check and tell you what kind of integration we have with them. And then we also have an outside company that can actually create almost a bridge or a 360 if it's a company we can't integrate with. So we have the ability to bring in an outside company, and they charge per payroll to do that. So integration is key, and that helps get all the data that we have here loaded up and work smoothly between us and payroll vendor and you.
Next question, is Empower, this is the fiduciary question, is Empower a fiduciary for the 401k?
So we're not. That's why we work with a investment advisor, plan consultant. There's a lot of advisors that specialize in retirement plans. We look to them to pick the investment lineup for the plan, and that would be either through a 321 arrangement where the discretion still rests with the client, or a 338 arrangement where 338 fiduciary where the discretion on the fund lineup rests with that fiduciary. So we'll work with a lot of outside companies to do that. If your advisor is unable to do that, or doesn't, their broker dealer, their firm doesn't feel comfortable with them doing that, we can bring in an outside company like an InvestNet or a Morningstar or a Leaf House or someone like that that can act as a fiduciary on the investments. Now, I did mention advice at the participant level. If we are to provide advice, we are acting as a fiduciary on that interaction with that employee. So we can help them pick their funds. We can help them, decide on Roth versus pre-tax. And that is a complimentary service meant to complement your advisor at the job they do in picking the funds at the plan level. And then there are other fiduciaries that really come into play is the 316 administrative fiduciary. And we look to our third-party administrator partners to act as that fiduciary where they actually sign off on, our distributions processed correctly or auto force outs handled correctly. And we automate all those items, but we do need an outside TPA to act as a fiduciary like a Menke to say, yes, we are a 316 fiduciary. So in short, we're not, but we do just about everything that would help a advisor and a client feel comfortable with us taking a lot of the fiduciary responsibilities off you, including mailing all the notices to you and your employees through the transition. Once the plan goes live, if the funds are changed, we're going to handle all those items for you.
Right. Next question. Is there a reference to see which investments are allowed in the plan?
Great question. So we work with about 14,000 different mutual funds out there. So generally speaking, we can work with just about everything. Any mutual fund that's willing to work with Empower, we're willing to work with them. We're not a asset manager. So we are what you would consider open architecture. We're not going to try to load this up with all of our own funds because we don't really manage our own funds. So we're looking to the advisor consultant to build a meaningful lineup, 25 to 30 funds. If you wanted something outside of mutual funds, then that's where we have to look at bringing in a self-directed brokerage portal. And we generally use our own Empower, which is run by Pershing, or sometimes we can work with Schwab, who acquired TD Ameritrade as the brokerage. And that's where you could buy individual stocks and, anything daily valued, you could access through that brokerage portal. But there are some concerns with that from a fiduciary standpoint, and that's something you really need to think long and hard about. But again, we got pretty much the world of mutual funds to pick from, and most of our clients are very pleased with the universe of funds. And every once in a while, there's an obscure fund that we don't have. If you really need it, we can try to work with that fund company to get them added to our universe.
Great. Well, I think that wraps it up for today. Thanks again, Miller. Thanks everyone for joining us. This video will be uploaded to ESOP University on your menkeesop.com plan sponsor portal. So check that out. There's a lot of good prior webinars uploaded, everything from ESOP administration to valuation to purchase to legal issues, so on and so forth. And if you want to continue the discussion about our integrated 401k offering with Empower, reach out to your Menke ESOP benefits consultant, or feel free to send me an email as well. We can get you connected with the right people to explore this further.
Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great rest of your week. Trevor, thank you so much for hosting.
Take care, everyone. Have a great week.